Hello Sangheili and welcome to the Halo Foundry. I hear you're after a new weapon, and do I have the gear for you? Today we'll be reviewing the new Halo Infinite Roleplay Energy Sword by Wicked Cool Toys, a Jazwares company. Firstly, this isn't made to replicate an in-game sword 100%, so if you're looking for something more realistic, this isn't going to be the product for you. If you're looking for a little spice to add to a costume, or something to hang on the wall just to brighten up the place, then look no further. The sword measures in at 20 human inches, with the widest part at the hilt being 7 inches long. So it isn't a 1-to-1 scale, but is long enough to make swooshing feel great. It has a number of LED lights running up both blades, giving a pretty nice light up feature. With 2 motors with the thicker part of the blade to add a cool effect to the lights, which I'll show off later. It also comes with some pretty awesome sound effects that run perfectly with the lights. Within the box we will receive a code for Halo Infinite, which you can enter in now on Halo Waypoint to use when the game launches later this year. This code will net you a vehicle coating. And what is nice is that they include batteries already installed within the sword. All you need to do is remove the plastic tab inserted into the battery cover to get things started. It seems such a rarity these days to have batteries included within the toys, so thank you Wicked Cool Toys, much appreciated. These batteries go straight into the thick part of the blade like so. A Phillips screwdriver is of course needed. You may have noticed that the box is a little bland compared to what you may have been shown online. I believe that Jazwares are saving the fancy man boxes for on shelf. When ordering online, you will be given the sexy brown box. This box is shown on Amazon, so don't be frightened that you will not be receiving anything official. Putting these aside and focusing on the details, this blade does a good job in making it look energy based. Well, good for the price anyway. With a rigid plastic used for the hilt and lower blade, and a softer plastic used for the upper. We do have 2 supports added between the blades to keep them held together. I wish companies found a way to strengthen the blades at the hilt, so we didn't have to see these on every energy sword, but I'm sure Wicked Cool Toys considered every approach before adding them, so no bad vibes coming from me. You may have noticed a split halfway up the blade, which we'll go into detail when discussing the light up feature. There are 4 shades of paint used on the hilt: dark grey grips, blue lights, grey highlights and a silver base. While this isn't the main part of this purchase, it is great seeing so much detail packed into something you'll be covering up with your hand. The blade itself is moulded in a transparent blue with purple and white decals added as highlights. Sadly these weren't applied to the sides but are on both faces. The effects of these details give out a nice energy burst feeling, with strong applied colours building up to lightly added whites. Of course, every product has its fugly side, and this sword is no exception. With screw holes scattered throughout, the battery pack and branding and serial numbers. This is of course disappointing to see, but is expected. This is also where the on, off and try me switch is located. Luckily, this side doesn't have any of that, so it stays nice and clean, ready for display. And although I do have big man hands, I find that the hilt is very comfortable to hold, where my fingers don't feel crushed in the slightest. These will always feel way more comfortable without the finger splitter in the middle, but removing this will take away from the overall design of the toy, so I'm more than happy to see it remain. Now moving on to the lights and sound features. There are 9 LEDs located within each blade, with 1 speaker in the back of the right blade. Turning the blades on will make it emit a sound of plasma bursting out of the hilt. Leaving it alone will make all the lights power on, where it will occasionally strobe from bottom to top, where it will eventually power off, accompanied by a wicked sound. There is a button located on the right side of the finger grip, which can be used to power it back on again. I couldn't find a description online anywhere that states this, but the sword does have motion control built in, and if it doesn't, I must be going mad, As picking it up, you get this amazing effect of energy flowing through the sword, where the lights will continue to climb up the blade. I must say that I absolutely love this sound, and really hope that it came directly from Halo Infinite, as it sounds peacefully aggressive, which is exactly what an energy sword should be. I know that Wicked Cool Toys did work with 343 on the sound, so it's likely to be a sound they used in the game. As the sword continues to be moved in light motion, the sounds and the light will continue to loop, but when given a quick swoosh, you get some pretty sick sound effects that go along with your motion, making every swing you perform make you feel like you're a right badass. I have noticed, however, that there may be 3 or 4 sounds that it makes with a swoosh, but it occasionally makes the sound of the blade first powering up. I'm not sure if this is just mine, or if it was mistakenly included in the mix, but it does make it sound very odd. But that does it for all of the motion sound effects. However, this blade does have one more trick up its sleeve. There are 2 spirals of plastic within each blade, running next to the lights, and by holding down this button, we'll get this cool effect. This is such a simple thing, but it gives us something that we've never seen in a toy of an energy sword, and that is the implication of energy flowing through. Though this isn't perfect, as this effect only starts from the motors up, which are positioned right here, and this is also the likely cause of the split in the plastic that I mentioned earlier. And the housing of the motors, which are visible through the transparent blue, do block light in the blade, giving it a random patch of darkness. Another bad note of the motors are their sound. They are quite loud, and the only sound effect that is played is its repeated start-up noise, which isn't enough to drown it out in my opinion. Some may have preferred it not to have this at all, and instead just have the lights make their way up the whole thing. But we do need to remember that this is designed for kids, and it is a wicked playability feature. Originally, I wasn't too excited for this when I ordered it, as it is more designed for kids rather than big boy collectors. However, after receiving it, I am very happy that I made this purchase. I remember when this was announced at the Toy Fair in February of 2020, and a lot of people were excited as they had this awesome ultra-realistic energy sword on show. However, this was sadly just a placeholder, where an early build of what I have in front of me was also shown shortly after the placeholder was shown, so we have to remember that the placeholder was sadly never in the works. To end things off, Wicked Cool Toys did a great job with this when thinking about it for Halloween or as an overall kids toy. It's hard not to pick this thing up and wave it around like you're some sort of madman. However, if you're into serious cosplay or want this ultra realistic looking piece on your wall, then this is not likely to be the thing for you. However, with me, I collect all things Halo, so welcome this guy into my collection with open arms where it sits proudly. Thank you again for joining me on this review. Please subscribe for more weekly Halo gear videos, and don't forget to like. And please comment your thoughts on this energy sword below. And if you have any feedback for the channel, I'll be happy to take note.